and welcome to Moneylife. This week is interesting. For the first time ever, at least in the 33 years that I've been in journalism, an investigative agency has had the courage to point fingers at the Reserve Bank of India. The Reserve Bank is like the first among equals among the five regulators, independent regulators that we have for the financial sector. So every time there has been a financial scam, and I wrote about the big one in 92, the RBI is never questioned. Yeah, okay, they've been called before the Joint Parliamentary Committee occasionally, but it's usually like a deposition, never to interrogate them on their failures, but to ask them what's being done. So what happens is the RBI is sleeping on the wheel, a scam breaks out, suddenly it plays the role of a regulator and starts investigating, pounces on the culprits and hands out penalties. In the process, nobody ever questions the regulator. I mean, how on earth did the scam happen in the first place? What was the RBI doing? And what is the cost of RBI's sleeping at the wheel on the financial system? Believe it or not, it's a few lakh crores, and not once, repeatedly. Like I said, in 92, the Harshit Mehta scam was also known as a securities scam. When we say securities, we mean government securities. And these were dealt with by the RBI alone in an old-fashioned system with no online transactions, an old ledger in which entries had to be made. It allowed him to vanish with the Securities General Ledger receipt. Anyway, I'm not going to go into details, but that system changed a bit after 92. Then you had 10 years later, you had the Ketan Parekh scam. Even at that time, overseas corporate bodies which were registered and regulated by the RBI, but $10 companies opened in Mauritius, which were used with impunity to pump money into the Indian market, take it out at will. Money was routed through corporates, borrowed from banks, sent abroad, brought back in, and RBI didn't know a thing until, there was a stock market collapse and an investigation began. Was anyone held accountable? Not at all. So it's a red letter day that the SFIO has at least had the courage to tell the RBI that if you were more alert, in fact, here's what it says. This is in the infrastructure leasing and financial services investigation. The SFIO is looking at all the 346 companies. At the moment, its attention is targeted on IFIN, which is il&Fs Financial Services, just one of three large entities that form the il&Fs conglomerate. And we've had detailed investigations, we've had a forensic audit, and we've had a really hard-hitting charge sheet of 840 pages that the SFIO has already filed. Apart from this, the SFIO has written to the RBI, where it apparently says in the charge sheet that action at the right time may have prevented ballooning of the matter. RBI had repeatedly pointed out non-compliance with group exposure norms and wrong calculation of net owned funds in its inspection reports from 2015. In fact, I challenged 2015, it's probably even earlier. No penalties, no action. Instead, il&Fs apparently was in continuous dialogue with RBI, and it was given until 2019 to set its books right. I mean, which world were they living on? You have a huge crisis today which has affected all of us, people who put money in mutual funds. It had a debt of nearly 1 lakh crore. Half the projects have collapsed. Infrastructure is in a mess. The entire financial system is in a crisis. In fact, now Diwan Housing has defaulted. And yesterday, when there was a credit policy by the RBI governor, the market crashed because, believe it or not, people want a bailout for this big sector. What is a bailout? At our cost, isn't it? So let's look at what the RBI was doing. As I said, SFIO says that you didn't do anything much from 2014. So what SFIO has done is wonderful, but it's like a job half done. I'm hoping that it's going to go all the way. But here are a few interesting aspects to this. RBI, as you may know, guards inspection reports and all the information available with it, including the names of defaulters, like as if its life depends on it, right? There have been Supreme Court orders, there have been innumerable RTI applications. RBI does not part with information. In fact, in defiance of a Supreme Court order, it is not giving out inspection reports. And guess what? The SFIO in its 840-page report has actually filed the RBI inspection report as a part of the charge sheet. This is now a publicly available document. It's gone at least to 30 respondents and it should be freely available. But RBI's stand is it can't be given. Now, we in Moneylife have been active, obviously, to ask about who was responsible for the inspection of il&Fs, because the fact that inspection reports had pointed to a problem is not new. It's the first time that a regulator like SFI was asked a question. But this is in the public domain. So over a month ago, somebody in Moneylife filed an RTI application with the RBI asking for information. Predictably, RBI refused it. There's a specific section of the RTI Act that is used every time to refuse information. So let me read out what we went through when we tried to file an RTI application. So first of all, the RBI says we had to file an appeal because it did not part with the information, and what it said is that it was refused on the grounds that it would impede the process of investigation. So we filed a first appeal. When we filed a first appeal, the matter turned almost farcical. The appellate official now said that the information is denied because it is likely to endanger the life and physical safety of the person involved. Isn't it amazing? An inspection report, which who on earth is going to do anything to them? But he also said that some parts of the information that we want could be reconsidered, not given, reconsidered. So now the matter is still pending. What has the SFIO done? Apart from filing it in the charge sheet and hopefully something will come out in the court, it has asked the RBI to conduct an internal investigation and look at what is happening. Now, I don't place much reliance on that because it's a bit like SEBI repeatedly asking the NSE to appoint its own forensic auditors and do its own inspection in what is famously called the algo scam, and we then know what a weak order that resulted in, right? So the good news, that action has been asked for. Bad news, nothing much may come out of it. But if SFIO is interested, it's not only about inspection reports. In fact, for once, the buck stops right at the top. Moneylife has written, I have personally written in my columns, that letters were sent to the RBI governor, no one less than that. There was a case which is New Tirupur Area Development Corporation, which is one of the companies, to bring privatization of water in Tirupur, which has had senior people from an overseas global investor filing official complaints requiring a forensic audit about what was happening at Tirupur. This was sent to an executive director in the RBI. It is on record that the executive director first said they would look into it, questioned IDBI, and then suddenly came back because some machinations had happened in the background and said there's nothing we can do about it. If there is nothing a regulator can do when a global institutional investor complains and says there's a problem, there's a forensic audit, you need to look at management, who's going to look at it? So let's just pray and hope that the SFIO is not going to stop with just one letter and asking RBI to do some sort of self-introspection and maybe give one demotion or prevent one increment or something like that, because nothing is going to change. The cost to the economy, we may talk about bank frauds, we may talk about big industrialists defaulting on loans, we may talk about willful defaulters. These run into lakhs of crores. In fact, the last known number is 10 lakh crore and growing. Okay? This is because of the failure of the Reserve Bank of India to act in time, to be on the ball, and to get tough. Unfortunately, as long as the RBI governor's post is a coveted post for everybody in the finance ministry who's a finance secretary, and they're going to keep coming to this post, they want that post to be protected and unquestioned. In fact, the RBI is so arrogant in how it deals with issues of public interest that the only major stakeholder that it engages with is the Indian Banks Association. And this Indian Banks Association is, according to me, a coterie of bankers. out there as a lobbying organization only for their interest, not that of investors, depositors, consumers, or anybody else. And it's not even a registered body. It collects money, appoints bankers to head it. It is not subject to our right to information. It is non-transparent. There are no accounts. And this is the only body that RBI is fully engaging with, to the extent that forensic auditors of banks will be chosen by the IBA and not by the Institute of Chartered Accountants or even by the RBI. I think this has to stop. It cannot go on. I think it's a great idea that when we have a new government in its second term, questions are being asked to the RBI. Let us hope that it goes all the way and leads to a cleanup, because we as a country cannot afford to have an RBI that's sleeping, that's unaware and unengaged with the rest of us. Thank you.